I do want to go to Malik Willis, though, too. Just everything from the interview process, the deep throw that he had where everyone in the building was like, whoa, what just happened? And I know it's on air as well. I know there's no defense, there's no line and everything too, but he had an incredible deep pass too. Thought he was very personable. I know there was a clip going around on social media. There were a few of them of him helping out someone who's maybe homeless or not very well off. I think he was giving him some water. But one thing I would point to as well, and I had heard reports that they were doing away with the Wonderlic test, but then there were reports that the Wonderlic test got leaked out. Apparently, Malik Willis scored a 32, which is above that 25 threshold that we talked about on the last show too. So you talk about someone who has helped his draft stock tenfold, going back to the Senior Bowl, really since the college football season ended. Like I said earlier in the show, I do not expect Malik Willis to be around when the Steelers pick at the number 20th overall pick. So if Pittsburgh did want to get him, I would imagine they would need to trade up to get him, because I think Pickett and Malik Willis will both be gone by the time the Steelers pick at number 20.
Yeah, and Pittsburgh might bite on it. If they can't, if they might trade. They might trade up to get him. I think they're looking at Malik more than Pickett. I think they like, Malik more than Pickett. Just my personal opinion. But Pickett would be the second option. And the reason why I say Pickett would be the second option is because, he's right there. He's homegrown. He knows Pittsburgh. He knows how to play in the cold weather. He understands the city. The city of Pittsburgh will embrace Pickett all day. All day. That would be homegrown, hometown hero. So safe for Pittsburgh if they get Pickett. That's what the city would love. The organization would love Willis better. The organization would be like, the city of Pittsburgh, hold up, wait a minute. I understand why y'all could be upset, but I like this guy's ceiling better than Pickett's ceiling. Wait a second, and y'all gonna see in a couple of years why we choose Willis over Pickett. My personal opinion.
Just the way the Steelers quarterback room is set up with Mason Rudolph, Dwayne Haskins, I would be okay with either of those quarterbacks starting. Say the Steelers somehow get Willis, right? I would be okay with the Steelers starting the season with either of those other two veteran quarterbacks to start out and then bring Willis along and start him once he's ready. I don't think you would need to start him immediately right away. Make sure he knows the system, make sure he's comfortable, make sure that you can have packages and concepts that allow him to be successful, because I wouldn't want the burden to fall immediately onto a rookie's shoulders when you're just coming into the league and you're just learning, an NFL defense operates a lot differently than anything you see at the college level.
No, I don't know, Mark. I might have to disagree with you on this one.
Okay. Bring it. Make the case.
And here's why. I saw the Cam Newton and mac and cheese situation. And it's pressure in training camp. So you go in training camp, you're getting all these different kind of looks. Coach T is throwing the book at a Malik or at a Pickett if they wind up getting one of those two. They're throwing the book, and you see Mason Rudolph and Haskins, but the third guy, which is the rookie guy, he's climbing up the ladder. Okay, you know what, man? Let me put him with the first team because my rookie has been working with the first team. Let me put him with the first team right quick and see what he does with the first team against the first team defense, and I'm going to put him with the starters on offense. Oh, snap, he's closing the gap. You know what, man? Let me just throw him out there. Let me throw him out there in the preseason game and see what he do. Oh, snap, he's closing the gap. Hey, who's the DC? DC is me. I'm the head coach, by the way, Coach Tomlin. I just don't have the defensive coordinator, title right now. But Coach T, I'm about to throw the playbook at this rookie. And I throw the playbook at this rookie, and this rookie is holding his own. He's going through the read progressions, whether I'm doing it from a 4-3 or a 3-4, and I'm zone blitzing or man blitzing, and he's just picking it up. Hey, Mason and Haskins, y'all got to start looking at yourself over the shoulder because I saw what the Patriots did with mac and cheese. Mm-hmm. So in this era and in this generation, Mark, they don't have to wait anymore. I'm looking at this. I'm in the 7-on-7 tournaments with my son now. At first, I shied away from it. This is my first year. I'm seeing these quarterbacks, these young guys at the age of 12 years old, get reps after reps after reps after reps after reps on air in a small, condensed 40-yard field. And I'm seeing them have to read less than 4 seconds. So now this generation, man, when it comes down to the quarterback IQ and understanding, and you give them talent, so Malik will have some kind of talent that he didn't have in college with the Pittsburgh Steelers. Oh, my gosh. And you got a running back behind them. You got 3 receivers. In the defense, they still in their prime. They got about 1 or 2 more years. Defense got 1 or 2 more years. It's going to be interesting to see what Pittsburgh Steelers defense, what they do in the draft and free agency as far as like that cornerback, linebacker position. But my personal opinion, I think they should go get a defensive lineman that can help out, stuff that run game. But, yeah, when you want to talk about the quarterback position, if it's anything close, Mark, if it's anything close with a rookie from the Pittsburgh Steelers quarterback position, they're going to start that rookie. They're not going to hold on to wait because Mason had his opportunity and because Haskins had his opportunity. My personal opinion, Mark.
I hate to be glass half full. I hate to be pessimistic, Mark, on a Monday, Ike, but let me counter here. I think it's convenient that you picked the Patriots, and we've talked about the other rookie quarterbacks, and you mentioned coaching, Ike. And so, okay, here's where I'm going with this. Mac and Cheese had Josh McDaniels for his rookie year, who's now the head coach of the Las Vegas Raiders. I don't have that same confidence in Matt Canada as an offensive coordinator in Pittsburgh. Now, you mentioned Mac and Cheese, but what about some of the other rookie quarterbacks from this last year? I'm talking about Trevor Lawrence, Zach Wilson, Justin Fields, Trey Lance, Davis Mills over in Houston. I like your optimism if it works out in the right way, but I want to see more. I don't have that trust with Matt Canada right now from what I've seen. That comes with the caveat is you had Big Ben in year 18, which we don't need to relitigate, but didn't have the mobility that he once had earlier in his career.
So that's why it's unfair to Matt Canada, Mark. Like Matt, man, give me something to work with. Here's
the reason why I'm critical of Matt Canada, Ike, is if you look at every statistical measure, the Steelers' offense was worse in 2021 than it was in the 2020 season under Randy Fichtner. Randy Fichtner didn't get brought back. You promote internally Matt Canada, who was the team's quarterback coach. The only statistical measure that the Steelers improved upon from 2021 compared to 2020 was their rushing yardage total. That was the only statistical measure. So that's the reason I say that, Ike.
Who's the common denominator between the two offensive coordinators? Who was still in that quarterback position?
This is why we have a great program here on the Bleav in Steelers podcast, Ike. But you're right. Okay, so the only thing that really changed was the rushing yards, and that was because Mr. Art, who is the owner of the Pittsburgh Steelers, Mr. Art Rooney, said, we won't finish last again in rushing. That's what we won't do. So as an employee of Mr. Art Rooney, you got to be like, okay, we have to run the ball at least 20 times a game, or my ass is getting fired. Like that's wrong. You're not wrong.
Like that's what it is. I like Matt Canada as an OC. I just, out to his defense, what he wants to do, the quarterback that he's had, which is Big Ben, a future Hall of Famer, he couldn't open his playbook, Mark, is what I'm saying. Coach Randy.
Yeah.
Couldn't open his playbook. Because in this generation, sitting there like a statue if you want to, as a quarterback, your ass ain't going too far. Even Tom Brady had to escape and get out the pocket.
Well, Ben had it in his prime too, to where, I mean, you look at all his old highlights where he's just running around, making guys miss. He's getting crackback blocks from his offensive linemen, and he's doing it how you would in the backyard as a kid. If you look at a lot of Big Ben's, highlights through the years, and they showed up on my feed just this past week. Like, he just celebrated his 40th birthday, so.
Yeah, all I'm saying is give Matt Canada a chance with a quarterback who's more mobile than your last quarterback for the past couple of years. Is what I'm saying, Mark.